Are you that level of porn fan where you stay interested in their catalog like later into their career? Because like for me, like if I like a band, realistically, I probably really like that band for like a year or two, and then like at some point they're putting out albums and I don't give a fuck.
No, I stay with the OG stuff usually. Yeah.
You still like watch a lot of porn yourself, even though you've been in it for 10 years and you know how the sausage is made. As
Not
they say.
not as much. Not as
Yeah.
much. It's just.
Do you watch your own stuff a lot?
I watch my own stuff. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's like I get to relive that experience.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not watching some other dude like fuck and use his dick. Like I get to, people are like, oh, you're conceited. Like watch your own porn. I'm like, I remember that experience. I
Yeah.
get to go back and time travel and re-experience that.
But you ever watch it and just be like, damn, I did not perform the way I should have.
There's been times
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
That's a
It's all
terrible
kinds of
feeling.
stuff.
You're
And
looking
it's-
at your own
It's
ass.
crazy. Like, 'cause even on Pornhub, like one of my worst scenes ever is like has 60 million views. I'm like, how the
Wow.
fuck is this like my most viewed scene ever? And I fucking
What
hate
made it the worst?
Well, we were talking about earlier, like I
Oh.
came early.
Oh, okay.
So I was like we were doing the still pictures in the beginning, and I was like, fuck, like I was like, I feel really sensitive. This, I'm not gonna last long. So
The tickle is strong.
the tickle was real strong in that one. So I'm like doing like real slow strokes and like just not.
But have you ever like been in that position and said, let's just do this cum shot and then give me 15 minutes
Yeah.
and then I'm going to fuck the shit out of you with a pretty solid dick that's not going to come?
Yeah, I've done that. Like I've had to, not often, but like there's been times where it's like a couple minutes and I'm like, fuck, I gotta come. We might as well just do the cum shot.
Okay.
So we'll do the cum shot and then like
And
10,
then go
15 minutes
back and then
later.
re-
I
edit
might
it.
need to do that someday. Like
Okay.
that sounds like something
Yeah,
that there are times where
Yeah, 'cause-
I might be better off doing that.
Yeah, because you're gonna like get a better effort on that second round because you're not like sensitive and just like trying to like struggle through
So,
it.
but are you not prepping? Like he'll always jerk off before he comes to do
Well,
plug
don't tell
talk.
them that.
Oh. you talk about it all the time.
Listen, I'll let this one
on
go,
No
but-
Jumper. You talk about your pregame.
Have I? Okay.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you have. You're
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. Like if I'm shooting a scene at 2 p.m., realistically, I'm probably gonna jerk off in the shower at like 10 a.m.
Wow.
Give
Yeah, no,
myself.
I
a-
like to
you know.
save mine up.
See, I wish I
Save it,
could, but then the
yeah.
tickle is too strong.
Yeah. So here's a trick I learned. If you got people at home want to learn, if you ever decide to do porn. So like my trick, if I'm on a porn set and like I feel like I have to come too early, I'll make eye contact with the camera guy. So I don't come.
Okay.
So I'll be like,
And that fucks it up.
that makes me not want to come staring at a dude in the eyes. Yeah.
Oh my
Now you just gotta
God.
start looking.
So I'll
at
be
it.
like,
Yeah, he's
I'll be
like,
like,
I'm
oh
not
shit,
gonna
this feels too good. I'm like, just look at me, bro. Just look at me. Just look at me. We're good. Okay, we're good.
Oh my God.
And I'm back to.
How about Adam
Oh my
stands on the
God.
side and he's the person and you could look in his eyes?
But the
Oh yeah,
camera
that
guy,
could be my job.
the camera
Yeah.
guy's
Like an
always like,
fluffer.
the camera guy's always like, what the
Anti-fluffer.
fuck? But I'm like, just stick with me, bro.
Just
Like,
look at me.
just look at me.
Well, a funny dynamic that we have is that we started shooting this show during COVID, so the filmer always had a mask on.
Yeah.
And then I believe, if I'm not getting the timeline messed up, one time, the first time that he had the mask off, he caught a serious whiff
Oh
of something that he did not like the smell of. And I'm not 100% sure if we ever talked about it. Or I don't think we ever talked about it, but I heard through the grapevine that he might have had a little bit of a rough day.
Ooh. Yeah.
He's still not wearing a mask, so I guess it wasn't that bad.
Mm.
Not expected. Lightning won't strike twice, right?
So yeah, the eye contact that's helped me out in dire
Okay,
situations.
well, Adam, I'm gonna want you to stare him right in the eye during this whole scene.
That's smart though, because usually I'll just like stare at the ceiling or try to like just think about some grass. or, like-
Also, I think if you don't have a camera guy, say it's a girl like that's filming. So like if I was
Oh, that
staring-
would help me out.
that would help me out. So I think about taxes. That's always like gets my
Oh.
mind off of coming real quick.
Sometimes I'll try to picture like an old man naked,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a really old guy.
I would just lose my wood at that point.
Yeah, but that's like I'm trying not to come, so like losing my
So
wood
you
is
gotta get
good.
that
like
balance. Like
yeah, I want to hit that like
yeah,
sort of middle
yeah,
zone
middle,
of
that's
like
good, yeah.
hardness.
Just start thinking about
just
Ben
enough to be able to
Affleck.
squeeze it in.
Ben
It's like-
Affleck.
That'll make you.
I feel like-
excited, right?
I could think of way
Not
worse
me.
looking guys than him.
Wait, yeah, me too.
Like
He's a
a
pretty good looking
handsome
guy.
Yeah,
But I feel like that'd be good medium because it'll keep you excited, but also not he's
too
not.
excited?
Yeah.
Mm.
Honestly,
I
like
think he's pretty good.
thinking about Ben Affleck's dick is probably just as much of a turn off of just thinking about like some 80-year-old guy's dick, just because I
Oh.
personally don't really want to see a dick in general.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
So just think about dicks.
yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so tell me what happened. We had a funny exchange on the Patreon, me and Lumi, where she said something about sleeping with a comedian, and I fucking guessed the comedian instantaneously. Just somehow my first
The
guess.
first guess?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, he was
first
he was a
guess.
pretty prolific dick slanger. So did anything ever come from that, or?
I mean,
Crystalia, we should just say. 'cause
Yeah,
the clip is-
I was gonna
the
say,
clip's
I'm like,
out there, yeah.
yeah.
Shout out Crystalia, but
I actually started seeing one of his friends, and he didn't know, and I had like the most stressful, like antsy feeling, but then I finally told him because I was like, that clip is out there,
Right.
which is the one where he gets
if he
it.
likes you a little too much, he's gonna start Googling.
That's why.
And he's gonna find it.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, he's like, this isn't the first time. This is.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But other than that, his wife blocked me. Didn't get anything else. I blocked him.
Just because of the wife blocking you?
No, just because I was like, because I started hanging out with one of his friends, and now I'm hanging out with like more of comedians, not in that way, but
You consider yourself like a comedian groupie at all?
yeah.
She hangs out at the comedy store, like
literally just like, hey. No,
Front
well, I
row at the
wanted,
comedy store?
yeah.
Spitting on your titty?
yeah. Well, I mean, I want to segue into comedy.
Oh,
I
really?
want to be a comedian, kind of. I say I do, but then I have like anxiety dreams doing stand up, so we'll see.
Seems like one of the most anxiety-inducing things I
Yeah.
could ever
Yeah.
imagine
I feel like even
doing.
more so than porn. Like
That's
if,
what
like,
I
the
tried
stand-up
to.
part because you have to your timing has to be impeccable. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just
yeah,
so
the
many different more
delivery.
Probably almost
more variables.
Yeah, 100% of porn stars couldn't do stand-up, and probably nearly 100% of comedians couldn't do porn. Shout out
But
to
it's-
Jason Ellis, though. He's
It's
doing
so
it.
much easier to criticize comics than it is porn. You know, porn is like there's good porn and there's
natural.
bad porn, but it's like this is pretty much what's happening.
Yeah. If you have sex for
So-
like however long on camera, you've done the porn job.
Yeah.
Like to a
So
certain
job.
extent, right? Like there is good and bad, but
Yeah.
if you could do it, that's okay. Whereas with comedy, I mean, every person is a pretty rough podcast or comedy critic, really,
Yeah.
because it's just you like what you
The
like.
bar is
and
higher. It's a lot harder to
we've
make
all-
someone
even
laugh.
if you try,
Oh, yeah.
don't try to listen to comedy, you've heard a lot of it,
Yeah.
and you
Mhm.
realize that some of it's bad and some of it's good. You know.
Yeah.
Damn. But it makes sense though, because like when I was going to metal shows or like, when I was a BMX dude, there would always be like chicks who were into BMX. All of a sudden they're dating like the top pro BMX riders because
Mhm.
there's not that many other girls trying to date them, So they get in there. And same thing with like bands and shit. If you're a girl and you're decent looking and you like a certain type of band, I mean, it's not going to be too hard for you to climb that ladder.
Is there
the
one
community.
common thing that you've found about dating all comedians? Like, do all comedians do this?
They're all pretty dark inside, and they all
Really?
have like they all have issues, but that's
like
why
that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they like ripping jokes before they're fucking you, or like they trying to
I've
like
had-
make fun? Or like,
I've had
is that their
I've had
foreplay?
I've had people do like little bits like
Oh my god. Does it turn you on? You like that?
I'm kind of just like I'll stop. I'm like I can't. Or like do voiceovers for
Is there like
Okay,
a
I draw the
moment
line
in
there.
dating a comedian though where you sort of realize like he's doing bits, like he's like, is there a fine line between like you just talking to me and you like clearly going through a little bit that you kind of rehearsed?
I don't think that's happened yet. Unless I'm just not aware of it. But I feel like sometimes I can catch it where they're
Have-
like
have you-
trying to get me to yes and or like do certain things.
Okay.
I've actually fucked a comedian that looks like him. So when I met him, I was kind of like, oh,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. It's much better though, version.
Well, I'm gonna assume the other guy was funnier and that he has a better dick,
He's actually pretty funny. But
Right,
he
well,
does, yeah, he
funny-
definitely
funny
has.
but not as a
Haha.
job.
So
I mean,
you're looking
I'm
funny.
just
Not my
saying,
job
like-
to be funny.
Yeah,
I
I mean that's
know.
pretty fucking funny if you
Yeah.
could entertain hundreds of people in the crowd.
Actually, my favorite porn shoot's like comedy, like funny shit,
Mhm.
like
Really?
just the like light, like
The
funny
cheeky
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cheesy shit, cheesy or like dark and creepy. I don't like the
Mhm.
the romantic or like the ooey gooey or the step. Like I like either funny or like dark.
Are you
Yeah.
typecast as anything in porn? Like, are you the
Now they got gray hair. I mean, they're trying to throw me in the stepdad role, but I was like, I'm gonna retire
Okay.
before I start playing the stepdad. So,
Yeah.
I'm usually like in suits. Like I'm like the businessy. Like I'm always in suits. That's my
Okay.
my go-to. I'd say.
that's a good look.
Interesting. Yeah, because well, I think it is kind of weird with porn because it's like when you start shooting porn, you kind of go into serious mode, and you don't like crack a smile or laugh during a porn set, or like the part that's going to appear on camera, right? Like they could always edit shit out, but for the most part,
Yeah, you gotta be locked in for the
you
most
kind of
part.
go
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
serious horny guy mode, and the girls go into serious cum slut mode, and it's like,
Because if you're laughing, like for me, if I'm like laughing, I'm losing my wood. Like
Yeah.
it's like there's two different mechanisms. Like laughing just kills it for me. It's like
But I feel like the girls are always doing like the smiley type,
Yeah, it's
type things.
different.
Yeah, it's different.
you could be like smiling and laughing, but it has to be like in the context of you like happily getting dick down. Like it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, because some shit is blatantly funny. Like if I fucking come on your eyeballs right now,
No, that's not funny.
okay, but like if you're doing a porn, it's kind of like on you to act turned on by having come all over your eyeballs, right? Like you can't laugh at that. That
Yeah.
ruins the whole
Yeah.
point. Why did I even blow this nut if you're gonna giggle?
I love facials, but that always makes me break character.
Oh,
Especially
because
if it's
so
like
painful.
if it's like a big ass load, then I'm like, oh, I've like
Yeah,
that's
I've
happened
Yeah.
where they go and I'm like, yeah, give it to me, and then I'm like, oh fuck. Oh,
Even
there's
when
so
I was
much.
just a younger
Yeah.
porn consumer, I would see that in a porn
Yeah, like-
and like rewind it and be like, that was crazy. That was like a glimpse into the real her for a second there.
and that'll happen too. It's like it's a crazy cum shot. The girl just gets blasted, so the girl's like taking it, and like you'll have the camera, like the guy in the camera guy will be just like
Yeah.
like just trying not to like laugh, which is like
I remember
So
watching a
hard.
German porn back in the day. Like there was some anal site that I was like watching when I was like 19, and it was like, you know, I could tell they were German, they had German accents or whatever. And there was one where like the girl's sucking the guy's dick at first, and then the filmer just walks up and just blows a load into her mouth. And like it was framed in the video as if like, whoa, the filmer just happened to be so horny that he did that.
Whoa.
And I remember even being young and being like, "Is this a work? Like, like this was planned? Like, or did this really just happen?" Because either way seems kind of fucking weird.
in Europe, you would never know. It probably was like real.
Really?
In
Yeah, I
Europe,
hear
back in the
it's-
day, they were doing some crazy shit.
And it's like 20 years ago, so
Yeah,
it's
they're-
more likely to have been real, but also seems pretty inappropriate to me. Being that this guy's clearly not tested or anything,
Yeah, because
right?
they didn't do the testing, they didn't do the waivers like
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago. Even
Really?
like a decade ago, when I first got in, they were shooting, I'm not going to say the companies, but down in Florida and Miami, where they were like going to clubs and like having sex with random girls. And like, you don't know their age. You don't know if they're tested. Like, it
That's
was,
wild, because that's how Brian Pumper got out the industry as well.
Yeah. So like, obviously that's not happening now, but 10, 20 years ago plus, like, there was random sex on camera where
Wow.
We should all be very thankful that the industry is as it is. 'Cause
Yeah,
you hear some
God.
stories, it sounds pretty grimy
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Speaking of grimy,